Former PRASA CEO Lucky Montana has opened a new can of worms at the parliamentary inquiry into state-owned enterprises. Presenting evidence to the Portfolio Committee on Public Enterprises, Montana alleged that former ANC Treasurer General Zweli Mkhize influenced appointment of board members and demanded 10% cut from certain contracts.
Mr. Mkhize told me and said, PRASA is due to pay 465 million rands. And he said, we want 10% of that 465. I refused. He then said, yeah, you guys are helping us on many things, but it's quite clear that you are involved in these deals. You guys are getting more of the money and you're giving us peanuts. The board of PRASA is appointed in 2014, in August, 1st of August 2014, was a board that was determined by Minister Dipuo Peters and Dr. Zweli Mkhize. Of course, it was, and I did state that it ultimately went to cabinet. And Honorable Dipuo Peters brought in Popo Molefe and Willem Steenkamp. Those are people that she had previously appointed to the board of Petro SA. And of course, the Treasurer General brought in Chartered Accountant, Ms. Zodo Manasseh.
Lastly, just thank you for the second part of your evidence, which is very important for us to bear in mind that whilst we're focusing on the Guptas, there's one large aspect as well of politicians that also have benefited. And you're very open in that regard, as a member of the ANC, to have said there are ANC members, and my colleague here has said that evidence is before Parliament as well. And we need to bear that in mind as well, that besides the Gupta element, there are other associates, business associates, that were benefited as well. So I want to commend you for your evidence.
Former PRASA Chief Executive Lucky Montana has alleged that the Guptas tried to influence a major project to replace the country's trains. He, however, denied that the Guptas ever spoke to him about the composition of the PRASA board. Montana said he raised concerns about undue influence on PRASA.
Tony Gupta and Duduzane were very shameless, because one of the things they said to me was that, and Tony said it at the meeting, in the presence of the minister, one, that like you are not going to be at PRASA forever. We can arrange something for you, you'll get it in Dubai yourself. They did everything to block the PRASA rolling stock. Firstly, they asked that the rolling stock program be cancelled. And we refused. They came back and said they want the PRASA AGM to be postponed. I did speak to the minister, and he gave me the assurance that what the Guptas wanted will not succeed. That is Minister Ben Martins. But I got the shock of my life when I met the Director General of Transport. At that time, George Mahlalela. George shared with me a cabinet memo, and this cabinet memo was about the new board to be appointed for PRASA. That is in 2012.
Montana's tirade against the Guptas was in sharp contrast to his stand in 2016 when he defended the right of the Gupta family to bid for PRASA contracts.
This discussion didn't start with the restructuring of the board. The discussion started with Rajesh, Gupta and Duduzane saying we are considering partnering with international players on this particular tender, and we want to engage with PRASA so that we can understand their requirements. We want to engage, and that's why I say it is within their rights as business people to engage with.
But the newspaper alleges that there was pressure from the representatives of the family. Was this particular demand made to yourself? Was it made to then Minister of Transport Ben Martins in your presence, that they wanted to influence the board of PRASA so that they can benefit from the tender?
No. What was said to even the newspapers was that in the Department of Transport, the former Director General indicated there's a cabinet memorandum which was drafted to change the board of PRASA. The Gupta family or any of their representatives never said to me that we want to change the board. I want to make it very clear The Guptas have got the right to be involved in business. If I'm a CEO of a business, they get involved, they've got a bid, they can present their bid. They've got the right to bid for that, and they've got the right to win if their bid is competitive, if their bid is compliant with the RFP that would have been issued. And that is the point. I'm on record previously in my tweets that I think that the notion of state capture is false. It doesn't exist.
On a name-dropping spree, Lucky Montana also accused former Transport Minister Ben Martins of throwing him under the bus. Accusing the then Transport Minister Ben Martins of defending himself at Montana's cost, former CEO said it was Martins who arranged the meeting between him, the Guptas and Duduzane Zuma. He explained that he was testifying to set the record straight.
I got the distinct impression that Deputy Minister Martins wanted to create the impression that I brought members of the Gupta family to him. I felt that the statement that was made by Deputy Minister Martins was not entirely truthful, was not fair, and was not comradely. I felt strongly that Deputy Minister Martins was trying to protect his own name at my expense.
Montana's testimony on Tuesday may have added to the woes of Deputy Public Enterprises Minister Ben Martins as he gets set to appear in Parliament today.
Will afford the Deputy Minister, Mr. Ben Martins, an opportunity to state his version of events. The Deputy Minister agreed on the invitation to come to the meeting, so the summons were not returned because he agreed to come to the meeting.